Hi, Elvis fans. This is Kerry with the Walkin on the Boulevard podcast. This is episode number 3, and in this episode, I'm going to be talking a little bit about the Ultimate Elvis Tribute Artist Contest or competition. It's been going on for quite a while, so stay tuned and you'll find out all about it.
We're going to go back to 1957. I need your love too much. I want the love. Your touch will hit the hold you, baby. Too much. You want the woman I had. Want to give your love too much. Well, you spend all my money too much. I have to show you love too much. Well, once you love you're gone. Don't you know you? You got it wrong, like the hit the shot, you're going on, you're too much. Sweet lips, I can feel my heart going flip, flip. I'm such a fool for your charms. Now take me back, baby, in your arms. Like the way you shine, I know I love you too much. I need your love all the time. I need you with mine. I need you so close.
The Ultimate Elvis Tribute Artist Contest started in 2007. I didn't really know a great deal about it at that point. I was more interested in just hanging out at the tent at Graceland Crossing and going to some of the smaller events. I didn't really have the money for that, but basically they do competitions around the world where they have different tribute artists get up and they perform songs, and then whoever wins the competition, they end up coming to Memphis for Elvis Week, and then all of the semifinalists compete, and they crown a winner at Elvis Week, at the end of Elvis Week. Originally, there was a contest. The only contest I was really familiar with was one called Images of the King that took place at Elvis Week every year. I went to it in, I think it was 2006, 2007, something like that. I went there. Well, no, it wouldn't have been 2006. That's when my friend Franz Govarts won Images. So I guess it would have been 2007, 2008, something like that. I was shooting a video on a young tribute artist named Nick Gutierrez. And I went there briefly and shot his performance. That was all I really knew. The Ultimate Tribute Artist Contest came along, and I missed it. But that first year, it was a guy named Sean Clush who won it. He's gone on to have a really successful career. He even played Elvis in I can't think of the name, Vinyl, TV show on HBO called Vinyl. He's in 1 or 2 episodes of that. So this year they're doing the Tribute Artist Contest again, and here are the semi-finalists, the people who will be coming to Memphis in August to compete. Bruno Neski from Woodbridge, Ontario, Canada. He will be representing the Tweed Tribute to Elvis Festival. Al Jocelyn from Houston, Texas, who's representing the Elvis Fantasy Festival. Bryson Katalinsky from St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada. He's representing the Ocean City Elvis Fest. Now, Bryson Katalinsky, he's somebody that I know. I interviewed him in, I think it was 2007, when he was just a little kid. It wasn't even doing much of a show then. I think he got up and did a number or two, but I don't think he was doing regular shows. And then in 2013, 2014, something like that, I did a music video for Demi Downing for her song. She looks a lot like me. I think that's the name of the song. It's been so long I've forgotten the name of it. But he was her co-star in the music video, so I knew Bryson. So good luck, Bryson. Also Cody Dalenath from Ocala, Florida is representing the Branson Elvis Fest. I know Cody as well. I've shot a bunch of his shows over the years. He's a real nice guy. Then Sylvain Leduc, I'm not sure where he's from, but he's representing the Niagara Falls Elvis Festival. Mario Combal from the UK is representing the Lake George Festival. He's another person that I've known for years and years. I've been shooting him at the tent and at Mary Jo's shows over at the old Clarion for I don't know how long. Probably 2004, 2005 is probably the first time I shot one of his shows, so I've known him for a good while. Another friend of mine is in the competition, Nick Perkins from Tickfall, Louisiana. He's representing the Tupelo Elvis Festival. He's a nice guy. He's only been on the scene for, I guess, like three or 4 years now, but he's doing really good. He's been placing or winning a lot of competitions lately. Then Yukihiro Nishijima. I'm probably saying that completely wrong, but I'm doing my best here. He's from, oh my gosh, Fukuoka, Japan, I guess maybe that's how you say it. He's representing the Elvis Tribute Artist Fest of Japan. And Diogo Light, or a lot of people call him D-Light, is from Porto Alegre, Brazil. He's representing the Nashville Elvis Festival. I had the opportunity to interview him in 2015. He's a real nice guy, and he's a really good performer. He did a show at the tent and just blew the crowd away. They were flipping out, screaming, doing cartwheels, all kinds of stuff. It was really cool. Austin Irby, I can't remember where Austin's from, but he's representing the Georgia Elvis Festival. Now, I've known Austin for 3 or 4 years. I've interviewed him a couple of times. I did an episode of my web series ETAs on him, and then I sat down with him and Taylor Rodriguez, and we did a thing called Memories. It was the very first. I've done 2 Memories specials, and this was the very first one where they just sat around for about 30 minutes and just talked about their careers, different things that have happened to them on the tour, funny things, crazy things, how they got their start, and where they hope to go in the future. And it was a really, really good time we had that day. So he's a good guy. So I wish him all the best. Then Cliff Wright, he's from Alabama, my home state. He's representing the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Sioux City Elvis Festival. Then Anthony Petrucci from Melbourne, Australia. He's representing the Parks Elvis Festival. I don't think I know him. There's a few people on here I've never heard of, but that doesn't mean anything. There's 7 bazillion different Elvis tribute artists and impersonators in the world, so can't know them all. Then Steve Segura from Ravensdale, Washington. He's representing the Penticton Elvis Festival. Then David King of Greencastle, Pennsylvania. He's representing the Elvis Presley Continental's Ultimate Elvis Contest. So I think that's all there are right now, but I believe there are 3 more left to go. You still have Collingwood Festival coming up, so if you're an Elvis tribute artist and you're wanting to be in the Ultimate, you still have 2 or 3 more opportunities to get in there before it's all over and done with.
She goes like this, you know. When you put your arms around it's hot now. Feel in the morning, feel all through the night. Sunlights of the daytime, moonlights of the night. I love when you call my name, because I know you hold the dream right. You give me free ride. When you're kissing, feel in the morning, feel all through the night. Captain Smith and Pocahontas, I love every one of them. When the daddy tried to hear him, she said, Daddy, who
speaking of the Ultimate Elvis Tribute Artist Contest, here's a list of the previous winners. The very first year in 2007, the winner was Sean Clush, followed by, the second place was Trent Carlini, and third place was Donnie Edwards. I've never met Sean Clush, but I have filmed him before at the tent. 2008, the second year, the winner was Brandon Bennett. Never met Brandon, never seen one of his shows. 2009 winner was Bill Cherry. I have met Bill Cherry and I have filmed him before. I interviewed him in 2007 over at the Graceland Crossing when he was getting ready to get up and do a couple of numbers at the tent. The 2010 Ultimate winner is Justin Shandor. I have met him, but I've never shot any of his shows or interviewed him, unfortunately. 2011 winner is a friend of mine, Cody Slaughter. I met him in 2006, and I've interviewed him a ton of times. I hang out with him almost every year at Elvis Week. In fact, he's the one who helped me get my interview with Troy Gentry, who he brought to Elvis Week one year, and luckily I saw him and recognized who he was, and was able to get a little interview with him, so that was cool. And the 2012 winner was Ben Portsmouth. And I met Ben in 2010, the day after he won the Images of the King contest. So within 2 years, he won both of the biggest competitions there are in the Elvis world. 2013 winner is Dean Z. He's another person I've known forever. I met Dean Z in 2003 when I first started shooting footage for Walkin on the Boulevard. I did an interview with him, and I've interviewed him, I don't know, 6 or 7, 8 times maybe since then. He's a really nice guy, and he's a great performer. If you get a chance to see him on the road doing the Dean Z show, check it out. Even if you're not an Elvis fan, he does lots of other stuff. He does Everly Brothers. He does Michael Jackson's Billie Jean. He does a lot of really cool stuff. So check him out. 2014 winner was Jay Dupree, who I interviewed him in 2016. He and Ben Thompson, Cody Delnath, and Taylor Rodriguez were all doing an impromptu show at the tent at Graceland Crossing, so I interviewed all of them individually. 2015 winner David Lee. He's from Alabama. However, I've never been to one of his shows, never met him. He's never at any of the places where I'm shooting, unfortunately. I'd love to meet him, love to shoot one of his shows, and I'd love to do an interview with him. 2016 is Dwight Eisenhower. I've known him for a long time. I've interviewed him a couple of times in, I think, 2007, 2008, or 2008, 2009, something like that, over at the Graceland Crossing tent. He was over there, so I did a couple of interviews with him. He's a nice guy and a really good performer. He also does a great Elton John, so if you get a chance to check him out, make sure you check out his Elton stuff as well. It's really, really good stuff. And lastly, last year's winner, I think he's from the UK, Gordon Hendricks. He performed in Sheffield one year, which is an event I do, and then I also was able to meet him the following year and do an interview with him at the right outside the tent. So he's a nice guy and a really good performer. He does a lot of shows with Mary Jo. Anyway, that's the list for the Ultimate, and once I know who the 2018 winner is, I'll add it to a future show. All right, thanks, and look forward to the next episode of Walking on the Boulevard.
The Elvis Presley Ultimate Elvis Contest. It's definitely the biggest contest in the world, sponsored, backed by Elvis Presley Enterprises, and I actually won the Tampa, Florida preliminary. So I will be in the semifinals and then hopefully the finals on Thursday night. And it's basically 20 some guys from all over the world. There's guys from Australia, England, all over. And it's going to be a lot of fun, and they have a very strict judging sheet that they go by and everything, so it should be a good time.
It hasn't really hit me yet. I could sit here and talk for hours about it, and that's not even enough time, man, to talk about when I was young, just like running around my house in my underwear, singing Elvis, and going to school and singing Elvis, and it just being something I enjoyed. It was fun, it was Elvis. Elvis is the coolest always. And then it just ended up, I got on stage because somebody said, oh, you kind of look like him or whatever, man. And they got me, and it was other ETAs. So they had my back and they helped me out, you know. They helped me out. It was my mom and my dad and everybody, man. And so all that time and all that, then to get your name called up there, it's just like everything flashes before your eyes, man. Everything flashes at that moment before your eyes.
I'd like to tell you you've been fantastic, and I'd like to do this song especially for you. From Blue Hawaii.